We are back with another review, and today we got the game Seven Dragons. So without further ado, let's hop right into this review. So we got the card game of Dragon Connection, Seven Dragons, and this is brought to you by Looney Labs. This is actually not technically a trading card game, but it's definitely a fun card game, that's nonetheless. So this was brought to you by Looney Labs in 2011, designed by Andrew Looney, illustrated by Larry Elmore, which if you're familiar with fantasy art and you like any types of dragons, fantasy depictions, you're going to see Elmore as the artist in those series. So we got a little nice box here. It opens up like a typical card box. We got the instructions, and then you got the deck offset in the middle here. A lot of the times you'd see either two decks next to each other. This one they did one full stack. We got a little cardboard insert here. And let's check out what we got before we get into the cards here. Dragons spread across the land. It's got 2 to 5 players, ages 6 and up. Minutes, it takes about 10 to 30 minutes per game, which is pretty good. That's a nice attention span for 6 to up. Children. Seven Dragons is a fast domino-like game where players attempt to be the first to create a connected territory of 7 panels of their dragon. Secret goals add the opportunity to bluff, and with aggressive cards in the mix, subterfuge is a necessity. So there you go. Basically, we'll explain it to you when we get in there a little bit. But let's check out the instructions here. So here you go. Designed by Andrew Looney, featuring the art of Larry Elmore. He was a very talented artist. We'll show you some of his artwork as we go through the deck here. And then it has just a little explanation on how to play the game. But basically, this is what you're trying to do, is make connections. Like this particular panel is an example of legally placed cards where you get the blue dragons next to each other are not going to be legally placed because they're not facing the same way. But you see how the red ones are basically all shooting fire in a downward diagonal fashion. They're all facing the same way and they're all next to each other. So that's a good 4-way right there. But, for example, the 2 blue ones, they're not facing the same way, even though they are next to each other. Because if you were to put this one in the right side up fashion, the red one would actually be touching this other red dragon over here, which would be completing the series for that. But that's the gameplay down the road. So there you go. It explains a little bit of the other cards that you get included here, which are trading hands, trading goals, moving cards, rotating goals, and zapping a card, which is basically removing a card from play. So we have a full deck here of cards, which, again, do look like this. We'll go through the card deck. They have basically panels with dragons on them. 7 to be exact, because the rainbow dragon is the 7th dragon, which is depicted here in the instructions. So the rainbow dragon basically is the wild card for the entire deck. The silver dragon is the start card. So at first, it's all colors at once, like the rainbow, but it could change color anytime someone plays an action. So that's basically how the silver dragon works, and we'll show you that card in a second. So basically, you're just trying to get a series of, I believe, 7 dragons. Let's see here. Where's the object of the game? Making the connection, overview, winning the game. Object of the game is to create a connection chain of 7 dragons of the same color as the one shown in the current gold card. As soon as you do, you win. So there you go. And then multi-connectional bonuses, unused cards, overview, basic dragons, single action dragons, and let's check out the cards. So we got, what do we got here? Okay, we'll check these out first. Let's see. We got the silver dragon card, which you can see there's Elmore's signature right down at the bottom right there. And there's a silver dragon looking into some kind of a prismatic mirror lens. It's a double-sided card, so it has the fantasy art on both sides, which is cool. Then we have our gold cards right here, which are distributed to the players who are playing. So, like, for example, you're going to try to create either chains of the red dragon. If you get this one, green, blue, black, and yellow dragon. So these are going to be your particular goal that you're trying to get. And I'll show you in a second here when we go through the actual deck itself. When it gets dealt out to the players and you have your own hand, you're going to basically try to get your chain of 7 dragons to be whatever your goal card is. I hope that makes some sense. And let's check out what we got here. So this is a more expanded version of the goal card, which you can see this is just a highlight of the head. This actually shows the body and the rest of the dragon. So you got red, blue, and those are some examples there. Rotate goals. These are some of those other cards. There's the yellow and black. And there's also full cards right here where it shows you the actual full picture. And you can see Elmore right there on the bottom. Pretty cool. He's got a signature on all of them. That's pretty cool, huh? And they have this little grid like this, and I'll show you in a second how, once we go through this entire deck, I'll show you how these will lay out and how they're supposed to be placed. There's a large of the red ones, so that's pretty cool. And that one has, where's he? He's on the rock over there. He put a signature on the rock. Pretty cool. Definitely a cool game. Definitely something that's really good for younger kids, young adults to play. I mean, the artwork is really gripping. We'll get to that rainbow one. There's the rainbow dragon right there. You can see he's got like a prismatic color all over his body. There's a rainbow actually in the background of it. And he's like a pile of gold, I guess it's perched on. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that's the wild card right there. But normally during gameplay, you're basically, like a card like that, for example, you're going to be building, where are we at here? Let's find, so like something like that, we would be starting like a yellow chain of connecting a series of dragons together for the yellow. So right there we have 4, and perhaps we select something like this. It wouldn't be able to complete the chain because you have your 4 dragons here, but the yellow's down here. If it was connecting, it would be valid right there. So if someone, I mean, technically they could block it. It's kind of like Blockus, I guess you could say. Blockus cards, card game, dragon game. So we got 5 right now. And here we go. That's another good example right there because we're catching that tail end over like that. And then, again, if you had something like this, for example, where this card has yellow on top, the blue would actually be touching the yellow here, so you couldn't complete your sequence. You'd want something probably like that to complete the sequence. So there you go. Now you'd have your 7 series of dragon, and then you also have them all facing the same way, because you also wouldn't have, you'd have issues if you had something like where would it be? It'd be something like this. If it was upside down like that, for example, it wouldn't count in a series because they're not the same. They're not oriented the same way. So that's basically how you play 7 dragons. Again, it's a game for 6 and up, so try not to make the instructions here really super complicated, but definitely a fun game. And yeah, if you like 7 dragons or you've played 7 dragons by Looney Labs, let us know in the comments below. And yeah, if you're a fan of Larry Elmore, let us know in the comments below as well. So yeah, if you want more content like this, subscribe for more. I do TCG and card game reviews every single Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that, and have a great rest of your day.